Okay, here we go. This is Garrett. This video is called, Are You Willing to Trust God? Are you willing to trust Him? I know most of you would say yes, but are you actually willing to trust Him? You see, it's really easy to trust God when things are going good, or it's easy to trust God when you have a full-time job. Your bosses like you, the supervisors like you, you're getting good pay, you're paying your bills, and you go on the internet and you say you trust God. Well, praise God. Or it's easy to trust God when you have a house or an apartment to live in. You got a hot shower, you got a kitchen, you got a bathroom. You're not homeless. You've never been homeless. You've never have experienced living as a homeless person. It's easy to say you trust God then. Or you're not really battling any addictions at this time. You used to battle addictions in the past, but most of them are gone. And you go on the internet and you tell people that you trust God. You tell God that you trust Him. You tell your family members that you trust Him. And a part of you does. So praise God. But the real tests are when all hell is raining down on top of your head. That is the real test. Will you trust God during those times? Will you trust God during those terrible nights? Are you willing to practice trusting God when you lose your job and all your money is gone? You don't know where you're going to live. You have no family members to take you in. You've got no friends to let you live there. Are you willing to trust God when you're on the very brink of being homeless? Or let's pretend that 6 or 7 addictions come this weekend and attack you. Maybe smoking cigarettes comes back. Maybe drinking coffee and energy drinks comes back. Maybe smoking weed comes back. Maybe watching pornography and masturbation, those two, come back. Maybe going to the casino to gamble comes back. Are you willing to trust God when all of the addictions come back? Let me tell you a true story. I have been battling 8 or 9 addictions at the same time. It's off the charts. I've never seen anything like it. I've never heard anybody talk like this. I've never heard anybody else say that they've been going through 8 or 9 addictions at the same time. Well, it happened last night to me, and I was battling 7, 8, or 9 addictions all at the same time. And I wrote some things on Facebook about how tough things are going and how we're in the valley of the shadow of death right now in my life, how I'm suffering, how God has me going through this and this and this. And when I woke up today, someone else had written on my wall, Garrett, I'm worried for you. I'm worried. I'm worried that you're talking this way. Well, I wrote him back, aren't we going to trust Jesus with my life? Aren't we going to put our trust in Jesus during the good and the bad times? Or are we only going to practice trusting our Christ when everything is going great? and you got a brand new husband, and you got a brand new job, and you have a brand new baby coming, and you got a beautiful house to live in, and your husband's got a car, you got a car, you got a dog, you got a little cat, your baby's health is perfect. Anybody could trust God then. Even monkeys could. Even dogs could. Anybody could trust God when everything is going great. But are you willing to trust God when the valley of the shadow of death comes back on top of your head? Are you willing to trust God when you're running out of food or when all of your friends have left you? Are you willing to trust God when you lose your job and you're facing being homeless sometime in the near future? Are you willing to trust God when the pornography and masturbation come back once again and attack you and come against you, and you've fallen down and now you're doing the same old things that you used to do? Are you willing to trust God then? Anybody can trust God when things are going great. Anybody can trust God when we're living in prosperity. But what about when the 6 or 7 addictions come back? Are you willing to trust God then? Or are you going to give Satan credit for all of that? And are you going to glorify Satan? Are you going to give Satan credit and honor and recognition and respect because you're blaming Satan for the 6 addictions? Or are you going to grow up in the Lord and give God the credit for your life and give God the honor and the glory, for he holds your life in the palm of his hand? Are you going to praise God during the terrible nights? Are you going to glorify God during the terrible addictions? Are you going to trust his son Jesus when you lose your job? And I'm not saying this is easy, and I'm not saying I can do it. I'm asking you a question. Get your eyes off of Garrett. Don't focus on me. I'm asking you a question. Are you going to trust God when these things happen? Are you going to practice trusting Jesus when your life falls apart? Are you going to trust Jesus when your baby dies? Are you going to trust Jesus when you lose your job, when you're just about homeless? Are you going to trust Jesus when you're battling addiction so strongly, so fiercely, so terrible you want to give up? Are you going to trust Jesus if you feel sometimes on the brink of despair and depression and even suicidal thoughts? Are you going to trust Jesus that he knows what he's doing in your life? Or are you going to give all the credit to Satan instead and glorify Satan? Are you going to trust Jesus when the cigarettes come back and attack you? Are you going to trust Jesus when you get sick and the doctor says you have no time left? Anybody can trust Jesus when things are going good. Anybody can. Even I can. You can. We all can when things are going good. But the real test is, are you going to trust Jesus when you're doing terrible? Okay, praise God for you. Meditate on this. Pray about this. Think about it. Amen.